Welcome back to Lakers News Fan Report, where we bring you the latest and most exciting sports news every single day. Today, we've got a blockbuster scenario to unpack, one that seems pulled straight from our wildest off-season daydreams. Imagine it. Joel Embiid, the reigning MVP candidate and one of the most dominant big men in NBA history, waking up in Los Angeles, suiting up in purple and gold, and lining up alongside LeBron James and Luka Doncic. It's the kind of move that would send shockwaves through the league, redefine title odds overnight, and have every fan, analyst, and front office executive talking for weeks. Now, before you write this off as pure fantasy, hear us out. We're diving into a speculative three-team trade that could land Embiid in LA, bolster the Hawks' depth, and give the 76ers the draft capital they crave. Picture this: the Atlanta Hawks pick up Dorian Finney-Smith and Jared Vanderbilt, veterans known for toughness and defensive versatility, units that Atlanta desperately needs to complement Trae Young's offense and shore up a second unit that sputtered down the stretch. Meanwhile, the 76ers, tired of Embiid's heavy contract and recurring injury concerns, ship their all-star center east of the Mississippi in exchange for a haul of young talent, expiring deals, and protected picks. Terrence Mann, Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber, Dalton Knecht, Shake Milton, a future first-rounder, and a later pick swap. It's the kind of seismic move that could kickstart a multi-year rebuild in Philadelphia, safe in the knowledge that they still have Tyrese Maxey and their young core intact. And in the middle of it all, the Lakers emerge as the big winners, sending George Niang and a protected future pick back to Philly and welcoming Joel Embiid into the fold. Imagine Embiid's presence in the paint next to LeBron James's veteran savvy and Luka Doncic's playmaking artistry. On offense, Embiid's back-to-the-basket mastery forces double teams, unlocking kick-out threes for Reeves, Hachimura, and R.J. Barrett. On defense, his shot-blocking deterrent transforms the Lakers' drop coverage, turning drives into hesitations, and weak-side contest into highlight reel rejections. With Embiid anchoring the interior, LA no longer needs to gamble on shaky small-ball lineups. They can play true two-big sets that bully opponents in the post and protect the rim at every turn. But let's be honest, the risk is enormous. Embiid's injury history alone, missing significant time with foot, knee, and back issues, could derail the entire premise. Think back just a few seasons ago, when a stress fracture sidelined him for months and forced him to alter his playing style in the paint. Or recall last year's late-season flare-up that had him logging limited minutes during critical playoff matchups. Now imagine if that pattern repeats in Los Angeles, under the bright lights and the full weight of expectation. Committing nearly $250 million over 5 years to a player with that track record could tie the franchise's hands for half a decade. What if he never returns to all-NBA form? What if a lingering knee tweak in March turns into a multi-month absence? Suddenly, the Lakers are left holding a contract so burdensome that it blocks any hope of adding complementary pieces through free agency or in-season trades. The luxury tax line looms like a guillotine, threatening to punish them financially and force them to let go of rising role players just to stay under the threshold. That's why this proposal includes the Lakers sending out Niang, an expiring contract, and protecting their valuable 2026 pick, ensuring that even if Embiid's tenure in LA crashes and burns, the franchise still retains assets to pivot and recover. Yet, even with those protections, the margin for error remains razor-thin. Imagine the ripple effects. The Celtics, Nuggets, and Warriors, long accustomed to jockeying for conference supremacy, now face a Lakers trio of James Embiid Doncic that checks every box: size, scoring, playmaking, and defensive intimidation. Boston, having built around Jaylen Brown, would suddenly need to chase free agent wings with length and lockdown potential to match Embiid's dominance in the paint. Could they pivot to a player like Mikal Bridges, or even swing for a buyout candidate to fortify their bench? Meanwhile, Denver, fresh off its own finals appearance, might double down on perimeter shooters to punish double teams funneling into Embiid. Imagine Jamal Murray and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope stepping into larger offensive roles to keep the floor spaced while facing the Lakers' Twin Towers. And in the Bay Area, Golden State's championship window would gain fresh urgency. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson would be pressed to hit every corner three at historic rates, and Draymond Green's defensive versatility would be tested against Embiid's sheer post-up force. It's not just a trade. It's a seismic shift in the entire NBA hierarchy, one that forces every contender to rewrite their off-season roadmap and recalibrate their roster construction philosophies. Even the smaller market teams would feel the tremors, knowing that one superstar acquisition can cascade into a league-wide arms race. Of course, we must emphasize this is pure speculation, an exercise in what if that pushes the boundaries of plausibility. There are countless moving parts: the front office's willingness to part with stars and draft capital, Embiid's own desire to chase a ring before age steals his leap, and LeBron's legacy calculus in committing to another franchise over. Staying in LA, would Daryl Morey truly entertain shipping out his MVP center for expiring contracts and draft picks, given Morey's known reluctance to trade star talent? Would LeBron agree to enter a new locker room ripe with young faces and untested chemistry, rather than remain as the undisputed leader of the Lakers? And how would Embiid himself feel about the Hollywood glare, the celebrity culture, and the relentless media circus that comes with the Lakers uniform? Yet the allure is undeniable. A healthy Embiid alongside two of the all-time greats could represent the most fearsome Big Three in history, an interconnected triumvirate so lethal that defenses would be forced to live in a constant state of flux, rotating against three future Hall of Famers who can all handle, pass, and punish mismatches. The very idea conjures visions of championship parades, banner-raising ceremonies, and a renewed aura of invincibility around Staples Center. Even the harshest skeptics would be forced to relent, if only for a moment, at the thought of mix and match. Defenses being torn apart by pick-and-rolls featuring Doncic and LeBron, followed by post-ups and rim protections from Embiid. As we await the moratorium's end and the first whispers of trade chatter, remember that every blockbuster idea starts as a rumor, and eventually some become reality. Could the Lakers really find themselves dialing Philly's number at midnight, offering just enough to entice Morey without mortgaging the future entirely? Would the Hawks be willing to part with Niang and Vanderbilt if they truly believe that Finney-Smith's defensive acumen will shore up their wing rotations? And most crucially, would Embiid himself embrace a new chapter in Hollywood, trading the blue-collar toughness of Philadelphia for the glitz and glamour of LA? Those questions remain unanswered, but one thing's for sure: if this move ever materializes, it will go down as the trade of the decade. Basketball historians will dissect the decision for generations, debating whether the risk was worth the reward, and fans will forever remember the moment when the Lakers dared to dream, bigger than anyone else. Ultimately, blockbuster speculations like this fuel the passionate debates we live for. Could Embiid's name truly echo across the halls of the Lakers' practice facility? Could the unthinkable become reality? It's that very uncertainty, tied to the promise of greatness and the peril of overreach, that makes NBA off-season chatter so intoxicating. Whether you believe this dream scenario is a bridge too far or a masterstroke waiting to happen, one thing is certain: the landscape of professional basketball is shaped by bold gambles. And when courage meets vision, history remembers. So stay tuned, Lakers Nation, because if Joel Embiid in purple and gold ever ceases to be fantasy, the NBA world will never be the same. But what do you think about all of this? Could Embiid in purple and gold be the missing piece for a title run? Or is the risk simply too great? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I can't wait to read your takes. And if you enjoyed this bold off-season speculation, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to Lakers News Fan Report, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a moment of the latest buzz. Thanks for watching. Laker Nation, stay ready. If you've been with us this far, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to Lakers News Fan Report, and ring the bell so you never miss a moment of this developing saga. Now, let's wade deeper into the possibilities, starting with how. LA's roster construction would shift overnight. First, consider Anthony Davis's role. In a hypothetical Embiid, Doncic, James lineup, AD would slide into an ultra-valuable 3-and-D power forward position. Gone would be the burden of primary rim protection. Embiid would shoulder that duty, and AD could focus on switching onto smaller forwards, sprawling to contest perimeter shots, and running the break as a finisher. In theory, this lowering of Davis's mileage could preserve his health for April and May. Davis has battled knee soreness and calf strains for years. Fewer heavy screens and baseline rotations might allow him to revitalize his explosiveness. Meanwhile, defensively, Embiid's presence would discourage interior penetration, forcing opponents into long twos or contested pull-ups, the very shots the Lakers want to force. If Embiid and AD could coexist harmoniously, the Lakers' defense would vault into the league's top tier, transforming from soft paint bunnies into a suffocating wall of shot blockers and help defenders. Next, let's talk bench depth. Trading away Niang and a protected 2026 pick would free cap space, but it would also create vacancies in the second unit. Here's where head coach J.J. Redick could get creative. Spot minutes might go to versatile wings like Rui Hachimura or Davion Mitchell, who could slide into small ball 5 lineups to maintain size. Veteran minimum targets, imagine a savvy backup like Montrezl Harrell, or even a former pacer like Miles Turner bought out mid-season, could shore up spacing and rim protection when Embiid rests. Developmental prospects like Max Christie might earn significant reps, accelerating their growth under reduced pressure. The Lakers have long emphasized next man up culture. This scenario would force a true test of that philosophy. But let's circle back to the biggest question: chemistry. Embiid notoriously commands double teams in Philadelphia, operating as the centerpiece of the half-court set. In LA, however, the ball would predominantly flow through two of the greatest playmakers in basketball history. Would Embiid accept fewer touches and fewer isolation opportunities? Could he embrace a secondary offensive role, focusing on pick-and-pop threes and short rolls rather than posting up 8 seconds on the shot clock? Reports suggest Embiid has grown comfortable as the unquestioned alpha and negotiating usage. Rate demands would be a delicate dance for Rob Pelinka. LeBron and Doncic are both ball dominators, splitting possessions evenly, balancing catch-and-shoot versus isolation, and calibrating who takes the last shot in crunch time would require unprecedented cooperation. Yet, if any trio possesses the basketball IQ to navigate these waters, it's this one. Now, let's fast forward to potential playoff matchups. Imagine Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals at Crypto.com Arena. The crowd is electric. The stakes are highest, and the Timberwolves or Suns run a well-designed zone to neutralize LA's pick-and-roll. Embiid's presence would instantly tilt the floor, his ability to flash to the weak side for help, then recover to hit a corner three, or his timing on offensive rebounds, creates second-chance opportunities that only an elite big can provide. Even if he's not at 100% physically, his gravity alone, drawing double teams, would create wide-open threes for role players. Suddenly, the Lakers would be playing with 6 men on the floor: Embiid, Davis, Doncic, James, and 2 shooters, or whichever combination best exploits the defense. Of course, there's the emotional aftermath. Philadelphia fans would seethe, calling for Morey's head on a platter for trading away the last MVP-caliber center they could truly build around. Media in LA would likely swing from rapture to panic within hours, celebrating the acquisition, before zeroing in on medical reports and workout videos searching for any sign of decline. Social media would explode. Highlight reels of Embiid's alley-oop dunks mixed with deep dives on his injury timeline. Podcast hosts would debate his long-term viability. Can a 29-year-old with a history of lower body issues handle a heavier playoff load? Meanwhile, the NBA's power dynamics would shift. Western Conference rivals would scramble to counter, perhaps by chasing a buyout for a dependable wing like Otto Porter Jr., or coveting a versatile center in the draft. Ultimately, this entire Embiid to Lakers narrative hinges on one person's decision. Would Joel trade Philadelphia's blue-collar ethos for Hollywood glamour? Could Daryl Morey stomach parting with his franchise cornerstone to reset the 76ers around Tyrese Maxey and future picks? And above all, would LeBron and Luka truly embrace sharing the spotlight in a way that transcends individual legacies for a collective pursuit of the Larry O'Brien Trophy? Those are the pivotal questions, and they're what make this rumored blockbuster so thrilling to imagine. So, what do you think, Lakers News Fan Report audience? Could Joel Embiid don purple and gold in time to chase that elusive championship? Or will this remain basketball's greatest what if? Drop your boldest predictions in the comments below, because if this trade ever comes to life, we'll be here to cover every twist and turn. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And until next time, stay curious and stay passionate. The off-season just got a whole lot more interesting.